Ever heard of Stellantis? They're the automotive powerhouse behind some of your favorite brands like Jeep, Dodge, and Ram. But Stellantis is facing some serious challenges that are putting all the brands out of business. This might seem like a bit of a stretch, but the reality is that it is only a matter of time. It's simple logic. People are not buying their cars, and Stellantis is doubling down on their wrong strategy. But this is not just about strategies and mistakes. This is more than that. From dealerships to governments and the future of the market, everyone is involved, including you. Let me explain. What exactly is happening? Well, Stellantis just dropped their latest earnings report, and it's crazy. It was so bad for some of the brands under Stellantis that the government came to bail them out, but it didn't work. We're talking about a jaw-dropping 48% nosedive in the net income for the first half of 2024. In cold, harsh cash, that's a net profit of $6.07 billion. But why? Well, it's not just one thing, it's a perfect storm of troubles. Stellantis is selling fewer cars, losing ground in North America, and getting hammered by tricky exchange rates. It's like trying to drive through a financial hurricane. And if that wasn't enough to make your head spin, their adjusted operating income took a massive hit too. We're looking at $9.3 billion, which might sound like a lot, but it's actually $6.2 billion less than last year. That's the kind of drop that makes accountants break out in a cold sweat. And let's talk about Stellantis' inventory situation. Rows upon rows of shiny new cars are just sitting there gathering dust. As of March 31, 2024, Stellantis had a whopping 1,393,000 vehicles in stock. That's enough cars to fill a small country. We're not just talking about this year's models either. They've got a mix of 2022, 2023, and even 2024 vehicles that just aren't moving. It's like they threw a party and nobody showed up. What went wrong? Well, it looks like Stellantis got a bit too overexcited and overestimated how many high-priced vehicles people would want to buy. And some of these trucks are priced at over $110,000. That's more than some people's houses. So with interest rates climbing and everyone tightening their belts, those luxury SUVs are not going anywhere. So what's Stellantis going to do about all of this? But not just sitting around twiddling their thumbs, that's for sure. So let's talk about it. Strategic shifting. As the car world keeps changing fast, Stellantis is at a crossroads. The next few months are going to be like watching a high-stakes race, and trust me, you won't want to miss a second of it. They've got plans to launch over 20 new vehicles throughout 2024. We're talking fresh faces like the updated Ram 1500 and the Peugeot 3008. It's like they're trying to hit the reset button on their entire lineup. But here's the million-dollar question: will it be enough? If Stellantis can't figure out what people actually want to buy, which probably is not $110,000 trucks, they could be in for a rough ride. It's like trying to sell ice to penguins. You've got to know your market. But what is the market like right now? Well, have you peeked at the price tags of these modern cars lately? We're talking about vehicles that'll set you back a staggering $110,000, and that's just the starting point. It's no small issue either, as the average price of a brand new set of wheels in Canada has skyrocketed by a jaw-dropping 50% since 2020, now hovering around $60,000. Meanwhile, the prices for SUVs and trucks have climbed by a still hefty 25%, which hints at some major shifts in consumer preferences and market dynamics. But can you even wrap your head around that? It's enough to make you wonder, who in their right mind can actually afford these luxury land yachts? Spoiler alert, not too many folks. With interest rates for auto loans averaging a sky-high 8%, the current economic climate has only compounded these affordability issues. If your monthly payment on a new truck is pushing $1,400, you can bet your bottom dollar that people are thinking long and hard, or maybe even 3 times over, before inking that contract. So if the market is like this, why is Stellantis feeling it the most? The reasons. The CEO's been making a lot of noise about expectations for a comeback, but let's get real for a hot minute. He's been quick to point fingers at production hiccups and repair delays as major hurdles. Now, that might sound like the old corporate blame game, but the inside information tells a different story. There's a massive disconnect between what the company's churning out and what customers are actually clamoring for. They should offer more affordable options instead of those eye-wateringly priced SUVs. But Stellantis seems hell-bent on doubling down on high-end models that are just collecting dust in the lot. This strategy is a real head-scratcher, especially as consumer preferences pivot towards more economical choices amid rising costs and tighter credit conditions. Will they manage to make the right moves before sales completely tank? That's the million-dollar question. These leadership teams need to get with the program, or they might just find themselves spinning their wheels while the competition leaves them in the dust. And let's not forget the ongoing semiconductor shortage that's still wreaking havoc on production levels, only compounding the situation. Automakers are prioritizing those high-margin vehicles, which has resulted in a serious scarcity of more budget-friendly options on the market. Back in 2021, a new car needed around 1,500 microchips, but with the shift towards electric vehicles, that number skyrocketed to between 2,200 and 2,400 chips per ride. This chip crunch has led to longer wait times, sky-high prices, adding yet another layer of complexity for potential buyers. So what does this mean to us? Let's break it down. Let's get real for a second. Families today are having to make some tough financial choices, prioritizing the essentials like mortgages and groceries over those eye-watering 1,000-plus SUV payments. It's a relentless game of financial whack-a-mole, with folks struggling to keep their heads above water on essential expenses. Those fancy, high-priced vehicles that once seemed so appealing, well, they're quickly slipping out of reach for a whole lot of people, forcing them to search for more realistic options. Affordable rides that won't add to the financial stress. Look, if you're in the market for a new set of wheels, you're not alone. There's a major shift happening in what car buyers are truly craving. With prices for plenty of top-shelf models soaring into the six-figure range, consumers are making their voices heard. They want more budget-friendly options. But as automakers like Stellantis keep churning out those shiny high-end rides, it seems like they're missing the mark when it comes to the essential needs of everyday families. The numbers speak volumes about this trend. In 2024, Stellantis reported that its luxury car manufacturing segment accounted for a whopping 18% of its overall revenue. That's a cool $12.5 billion, hinting at growing demand for those high-end models in certain markets. But here's the catch. This laser focus on luxury is totally out of sync with what today's consumers are truly craving. Families want practicality and affordability, not opulence. I mean, just look at the Grand Wagoneer in Stellantis' lineup. Sure, it's dripping with luxe features, but that price tag is completely out of reach for a lot of folks. So what does this mean for Stellantis and the broader auto market? If the company fails to adjust its strategy to align with the need of families, it could be staring down a pretty bumpy road ahead. Analysts are warning that if Stellantis and other major players don't pivot towards more accessible vehicle options, they might find themselves sitting on a whole lot of unsold inventory and some seriously unhappy customers, which is already happening. And let's not forget, Stellantis is going all in on electrification, committing over 50 billion euros in the next decade to achieve 100% battery electric vehicle sales in Europe and 50% in the USA by 2030. But the focus on luxury EVs might not be the answer to the immediate needs of budget-conscious families. It's a massive disconnect, really. Stellantis keeps churning out those lavish SUVs, trying to peddle dreams that just don't resonate with the financial realities faced by so many consumers. It's like trying to sell gourmet meals at a fast food joint. The quality might be top-notch, but what the customers really want are affordable, satisfying options. But is that even the case these days? Well, let's dissect it. Reliability of Stellantis. Stellantis has been facing some serious headaches when it comes to keeping their cars running smoothly. Now, don't just take my word for it. The big guns in the auto world, Consumer Reports and J.D. Power, have been shining a spotlight on these issues. And let me tell you, it's not exactly a pretty picture. Stellantis vehicles have been getting reliability ratings that would make even a rusty abandoned truck blush. They have a lot of issues, and first up on their list are electrical gremlins. You know those pesky little buggers that make your car act like it's possessed? Yeah, those. Stellantis vehicles, especially fan favorites like the Jeep Wrangler and Chrysler Pacifica, have been throwing more tantrums than a toddler at bedtime when it comes to electrical issues. Imagine you're cruising down the highway in your shiny new Jeep Wrangler, which you spent all your savings on, feeling like the king of the road. Suddenly, your entertainment system decides it's the perfect time for a nap. The screen freezes and your touchscreen becomes unresponsive. Oh, and forget about jamming to your favorite tunes via Bluetooth. That's now not an option. And on top of all of it, there are transmission troubles plaguing the Dodge Durango and Chrysler 300. It's like these cars have a mind of their own when it comes to shifting gears, and not in a good way. Owners have been reporting rough, jerky gear changes that feel more like a rodeo than a smooth highway cruise. And it's not just an annoyance. These transmission woes can also put a serious dent in your wallet. Some unlucky Stellantis owners have found themselves shelling out big bucks for costly repairs or even full-on replacements. It's like your car is trying to suck the life out of your bank account, one gear grind at a time. And then there is the Ram 1500, a usually well-respected workhorse that has been caught in the backlash when it comes to overheating issues. Specifically, the models equipped with the beefy 5.7-litre Hemi V8 engine seem to be running hotter than a jalapeno. And let's talk about the Jeep Grand Cherokee, a beloved SUV that's supposed to deliver a smooth, luxurious ride. Well, someone forgot to tell the suspension components that, because some owners have been reporting a whole lot of noise, instability, and just generally a ride quality that's not smooth at all. It's like the Grand Cherokee is channeling its inner off-road warrior, even when it's supposed to be cruising down the highway. And the real kicker? These suspension issues don't just make for a less comfortable ride. They can also lead to increased maintenance costs down the line. But here's the million-dollar question: why is this happening? Is it just bad luck, or is there something more going on under the hood at Stellantis? Some industry experts reckon it might be growing pains from the merger that created Stellantis in the first place. Imagine trying to blend different car-making philosophies and technologies. It's like trying to make a smoothie with motor oil and orange juice. Sure, you might get something that looks like a car, but will it run without giving you a headache? Others point to the rapid pace of technological advancement in the auto industry. It's like Stellantis is trying to keep up with the Joneses, cramming their car full of the latest gadgets and gizmos, but forgetting to make sure they all play nicely together. It's the classic case of too much, too soon. The result: recalls upon recalls. In 2023 alone, Stellantis was busy cranking out recalls like nobody's business. We're talking thousands of vehicles affected by issues ranging from faulty airbags to brake problems and even fire hazards. It's like they're playing a twisted version of Spot the Defect with their customers, and nobody's really winning. Now I know what you're thinking, but wait, don't recalls just mean they're being proactive and fixing issues? Well, my friend, that's true to a certain extent, but when you've got a steady stream of recalls coming out of the Stellantis factory, it starts to raise some serious questions about their quality control processes. It's like they're building cars with a surprise mechanic visits feature, only it's not really a feature, is it? And speaking of quality control, let's talk about that 2023 JD Power Vehicle Dependability Study. Stellantis, Chrysler, and Jeep ranking among the least dependable? That's got to hurt. It's like the automotive equivalent of getting a participation trophy. Nobody really wants it, and it certainly doesn't inspire confidence in potential buyers. So what now? What is the future going to look like? Well, it's not a simple answer, it is a bit complicated, so watch carefully. The aftermath. Well, you know how Stellantis is hitting a major roadblock in production, with profits plummeting by a staggering 48% in the first half of 2024. It's 5.6 billion euros gone in a flash. And dealerships are being overwhelmed with unsold vehicles, leaving them with no room to move. You know what that means, right? Yeah, the dreaded L word, layoffs. It's like a dark cloud hanging out over everyone's head, making the workplace feel uncomfortable. And there is no other option. Just look at the numbers. Stellantis has seen a 10% drop in global shipments compared to last year, and in the US, sales have plummeted by 14%. And Stellantis is doing something about it, something that many of you might not like. Imagine you're a dealer and suddenly your distribution team comes knocking, offering you a deal that's too good to pass up. They're saying that if you take a bunch of these Dodge Hornets that nobody wants, they'll throw in a few of the hot-ticket models you've been begging for. It's like being a kid forced to eat your veggies before you can have dessert, but on a whole new automotive scale. And let me tell you, these dealerships are really feeling the heat. The production slowdown and unsold vehicle buildup are creating a perfect storm of financial strain and potential layoffs. So dealerships are pulling out all the stops to clear their lots and get those unsold vehicles moving fast. But we need to talk about the details, so let's. The dealer's plan. First up, these savvy dealers are harnessing the power of technology and data analytics to identify their hot prospects, the customers who are practically itching to sign on the dotted line. Tools like Auto Alert are like a crystal ball, allowing them to peer into their customer database and zero in on the folks who are primed to buy within the next 90 days. By matching the right rides with the right buyers, they're streamlining the sales process and keeping those cars from collecting dust. And get this, some dealerships are even turning their unsold cars into loaners for customers whose rides are in the shop. Talk about two birds with one stone. Not only does this keep the vehicles in tip-top shape, but it also allows them to market them as lightly used, a sweet deal for savvy shoppers. But the real magic happens when these dealerships start wheeling and dealing with each other. Yeah, they're trading unsold inventory, making sure the right cars end up in the right markets. Convertibles in the north? No thanks, we'll take those SUVs in a beat. It's like a high-stakes game and they're determined to be the last one standing. But the dealerships aren't stopping there. They're also getting creative with their promotional strategies, offering up some jaw-dropping deals to buyers going through the doors. Imagine walking onto the lot and seeing a Dodge Hornet practically begging to be taken home, with a price tag that's more tempting than any other car. Now the question is, do you take it? Do you fall for it? They are done, and now they don't know what to do with it. For them, it will be holding space and costing them money every single second until they do something with it. But if you buy it, then it is just an endless source of headache. Remember those reliability issues. According to a recent J.D. Power study, Stellantis brands, particularly Chrysler and Jeep, have reported higher than average problems, with Chrysler averaging 226 problems per 100 vehicles and Jeep at 196 problems per 100 vehicles. Now, I don't need to explain this in detail because it's pretty obvious. For a buyer, the implications of these reliability issues are multifaceted. First and foremost, buyers may face higher long-term ownership costs. Vehicles with poor reliability often require more frequent repairs and maintenance, which can add up significantly over time. But this also means your car doesn't have any good resale value, and that is a huge problem. But what's your take on this? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.